Hello to all my beautiful people out there. I'm wishing you a crazily good Saturday. No, it's Sunday already. Oh my god, I'm streaming on Saturday, so very naturally I'm greeting you on Saturday. But if you're watching this live, today is Sunday, and very unusually I'm joining you on Sunday because I'm very human and I had an emergency yesterday, and after 5 years of doing these streamings, this was very unusual a moment where I actually had to postpone my streaming till today. But for all of you who are watching, who are listening, I want to give you warm welcome, because today we are going to be talking about how to overcome your fear and anxiety. And I'm very pleased we are talking about this, because I was speaking to many of my people and my friends who are dealing with this, or have been dealing with this in the past. And for the beginning, I want to say I'm going to approach this subject very sensitively, because when we are talking about fear and anxiety, there are several varieties and levels of it. And for the very beginning, I want to say that there are the times when fear and anxiety is so severe that it actually needs the medical interference in terms of, and there is nothing wrong with it. I am not ambassador, or I'm not pro or against it, but there are the times where actually people need to find the help in terms of helping their brain to chemicals in their brain with a medical in medical way, and so that's what I want to say for the very beginning. But we are going to be talking more about how to deal with the fear and anxiety if we feel that we want to choose another route, or our levels are not so severe that there is a need for this kind of interference. So welcome everyone. I hope this streaming is going to be useful for you, and that you are going to, the most important, that you are going to take something practical for yourself and your life that you can actually apply, and that is actually going to make a difference in your life. So I'm going to be talking about my own personal experience, and I'm going to be talking about what helped also my clients along their journey, that a lot of them came with me actually with this specific problem, and then we've been revealing things a little bit further, and they freed themselves completely. Not only that, but they actually discovered that because the fear and anxiety been holding them back in so many areas of their lives, and they are now free to create the life they love. And this is my mission for you. This is why I am doing these streamings. This is why I'm showing up. Even if I don't show up on time, apologies, I haven't been here yesterday, but I really needed to deal with the emergency, but I'm here for you today. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lucia Hoxa. I'm a fertility mindset coach, and I support women all over the world to have their dream baby. But most importantly, I support women for almost 20 years now to live the life they love. And I believe these things go hand in hand, because when ladies want to be pregnant, want to be moms, what they really want is also to have a harmony. What we all want really is to have a harmony in all areas of our lives, including our relationships, our health, our financial situation. We want to be working in a job, or having a career or business that fulfills us. We want to have and experience abundance in our lives, and that's the kind of results my people are getting. So I'm love to be here with you and for you. And for the start, let me know where you joining us from. I love to hear from you. This is interactive, guys, so feel free to ask me any questions in the comments, or feel free to even send me your questions in a personal message, because I know this is very sensitive subject. Hi Vendeline, great to see you here. And I just want to start now, because this streaming is packed with lots and lots of value, and my kids just fall asleep, so I'm very lucky to be here with you, choosing this time. Hopefully this is going to land with all those people, and I trust always when I do this streaming, I trust that the people who are supposed to hear whatever I'm going to share with you are in the right place, and there's no coincidence that you are on this streaming and you are joining me here right now. So welcome again. For those of you who are joining us from replay later on, just press or send in the comments hashtag replay. It is going to help me to find out how many people are watching live or replay. Or if you are with us live, press hashtag live. So let's start. And first of all, I want to ask you a question, guys. I want to ask you a question. If you ever experience the feelings of fear and anxiety. Now, when I say fear, it's not that kind of like horror movie, like it doesn't show up like that. Fear in life, from my clients' experiences and my own experiences, shows up more like almost like a worry about the future, or even like it's even much more subtle than that. Like, you know, when you don't do certain things and you don't even allow your mind to go to flirt with the idea that you would try. That's also part of a fear. And I'm not talking about jumping from the skyscraper, but obviously that's not going to give us much value. But you know, those things that you always wanted to do, you know, I used to coach women on also on making money doing what they love. And, you know, one of their fears was showing up on a camera like this. And it's a very interesting process because we need to show up as like this, who we are. You know, if we have a spot on the chin, is, you know, going to be visible for hundreds of people, or at least few, you know, who will be watching if you are beginning this. Yeah, and Livia, thank you so much for sharing. Livia saying, I always have a crippling anxiety. Exactly, like anxiety, I've been talking about fear, now I'm going to switch into anxiety. Anxiety is something that completely paralyzes us. Like when I used to experience anxiety in the past, it was mostly in the mornings when I woke up, and it was for me, it was like my stomach and my chest was like this, like someone was like squashing and squeezing it. And for me, it was the problems with the breath. I actually had together with anxiety, I had also the problems with the panic attacks, which if those of you who went through it, it feels like you are getting a heart attack. But really, for me, the most terrifying thing, it was that I couldn't get a breath. I couldn't catch a breath. It was the time when I was going through my university, actually after, a lot of these times happen after some kind of traumatic or very, very stressful experience we have. Afterwards, when everything is fine, you know, I passed my exams and everything, but leading up to it, I was very, very stressed. And I remember I had literally something, I felt like I have something in my throat that is protecting me from, you know, grasping the breath. I said to my mom and dad that my Adam's apple, you know, like being pushed inside. That's how I felt, like, you know, that I cannot actually get a breath, that, you know, like that tube there is blocked. Some people experience it differently. There was other times, by the way, this is not possible. Like doctors told me that it's absolutely impossible to have that happen on a physical level. But I was crying because I said, no, but I feel like I can't take a breath. And then they, you know, injected me with magnesium. I think I slept about 2 days and it was fine. And other people experience anxiety, like this feeling when it's almost like you cannot focus on anything, you cannot do anything, you are just paralyzed to even, you can't talk to people, you cannot function. You can, when you feel severe anxiety, I mean, there are levels of it, but you cannot actually go to work or even go and buy ice cream in a shop, or you probably wouldn't even think about ice cream at the times of severe anxiety. But, you know, so these things are very, very scary at times, especially panic attacks that, can be as much as like what I had when I actually fainted at the end. Like I couldn't breathe. It was very, very scary experience. And guys, I didn't know about these things. I didn't know that it even is got a name. I just thought there is something wrong with me. I felt very alone in experiencing these kind of things, because they've been repeatedly like kind of coming back, these experiences. And it was at the times of the severe stress experience, or afterwards when I actually was supposed to feel okay, but it was like aftermath of those times. So first of all, I wanna say to you that if you are experiencing symptoms like this, it can be symptoms of panic attacks and anxiety that are connected with a fear. It's kind of like one family, like cousins. And it is unfortunately happening to a lot of people. Not many people are talking about. This is one of the things that I want to be talking about, because always in these live streamings we talk about, I'm trying to choose the subject where we talk about things that matters, and very openly share my experiences, as well as some useful tips with you, because I do believe that when I do so, it's not going to be such a taboo. It's not going to be such a thing that we have to be ashamed of, something like that. We don't have to be ashamed. In fact, the first thing I want to say to you is that a lot of people are experiencing it, but everybody's got a brave face, and very few people dare to talk about it, because the truth is, we have persona, and we feel that we have to be certain way to survive in a world, to be strong, in front of your colleagues, in front of your friends. What if they would think I'm crazy and I need to be sectioned or something? No, like it's very, very often, and I'm not and if we don't pay attention to it, if we don't have a knowledge about it, it's very likely to take its course toward it's got a little bit of snowball effect. Like if you don't deal with it, it's got a tendency to get worse as we go in life. So let's talk about how to deal, a few tips like how to deal with the fear. I'm going to be talking about fear, but it's all connected, so listen for what resonates with you. So first of all, what proved to me and my clients very, very useful was to actually name it, actually talk about it, actually be in a conversation, a very open, honest conversation with a professional about what we are experiencing. Like, rather than trying to run away from it and avoid it, like when you don't like something, you're trying to push it away. Like when you feel the pain, like physical pain, you're trying to fight it, and it's actually the worst thing we can do, because it makes things worse. Did you ever had a migraine or big headache and you've been like saying, oh, I'm really angry, I don't want to feel this headache? Well, it gets worse. So it's very, very similar with anxiety or fear. Is to not only kind of accept it and embrace it, but also to look at it closely. So rather than running away from it, have a look. Like have a look what is really going on. Maybe it's not possible inside of that feeling, but after the severe anxiety pass or fear, bravely have someone. The best thing is to have a therapist or coach or professional who is going to take you through the process, where you can actually talk about it, like when you are experiencing fear and anxiety, when this happens, like have a look if there is a pattern. What are the trigger points for this? Where is it really coming from? How is this feeling similar to something that you experienced in the past? And I give you example from my recent experience from Friday that was very interesting for me. I didn't have anxiety, but I had a real discomfort. Now, my babies are going to kindergarten in September. Well, they're supposed to. And I had no idea I will have any troubles with this. We've been told that 95% we are going to come to this kindergarten, which is just there across the park. And, you know, on Friday I got no. And not only one no, like on that Friday I took my both kids and I was walking across the whole town, even in the villages outside of the town. The whole day we spent searching for a kindergarten, and everywhere we went we got no, sorry we are full, sorry we are full, it's too late, sorry we are full, like rejection, rejection, rejection. And what is interesting and why I'm sharing this story with you is that I started feeling this feeling of a bit of a panic, like, oh my God, you know, what do I do? You know, like, they're ready, you know, like, I'm ready, like, now I have to change all my plans, I really count on it. Now I have no idea, like, I can't wait for another year because, you know, so many things are put in place, now my work and everything. But then when I looked closer, when I was able to actually, at the end of the day, look close, like, oh my God, where is this feeling coming from? That's when I realized the first time I had a similar feeling to this one of kind of rejection and not having a place to where they, you know, I know it's not true, right? But it's like, they don't want my babies. Like, how come they don't want my babies? How come there's no space for my babies? And when I looked at the feeling, it was the same feeling I had when I changed the high school from first year to second year. I moved, the second year I was supposed to start in a capital, and it was already September, kids already went to school, and I had no school and I had no place to stay. Without going into details, I was supposed to stay with a family, but they said, oh, it would be too much responsibility. So suddenly, me and my dad, I was 15 years old, we've been walking, literally walking in capital on the streets, and my dad was almost asking like random people. I remember he said to old lady, like, whether she's living alone, whether she's got a spare room where I can stay for a few months, like that. And that's where I had that feeling like, oh my God, like nobody wants me or something, like I'm a burden, like something like that, you know? So it's really, really interesting. And then knowing this and recognizing these two feelings are very similar, I realized that I'm no longer 15 years old. This is not the same situation. It's nothing to do with my kids or rejection of me or my kids or us. It's just simply, it is what it is, you know. It's a lot of kids, like they got no spaces, there have been some kindergartens cancelled, and you know, it's just the situation that occurred that you know. And if I'm honest with you, like I had a really, really bad Friday, especially night. Like I was in pain, like what do I do, like oh my god. But then luckily, and I tell you guys, I'm same as you. Like I also experienced the worry and a fear and anxiety, not so much anymore, touch wood. It was really bad like 20 years ago more. But I still have these feelings. I still have doubts like, oh my god, how is it going to work out? But thank God, because the work that I do and I have been trained highly still didn't come like that. It's still not easy, but at least it doesn't take me a long time. And I was able to process it and do whatever I needed to. I spent the time in nature pretty much all day yesterday and dealt with other things on the top of it. But I needed a time off. That's why, one of the reasons why I wasn't streaming, because I couldn't offer myself to you yesterday. Because I needed to give to myself. I needed to replenish my energy and just to get, you know, just to be in this silence, in nature. That's what helps me. I will tell you, that's one of the points I have here for you. That's what helps. So the only difference, because people say to me, oh my god, you make it look so easy. Is not easy. It's not easy. I have challenges in my life you wouldn't believe. However, maybe the only difference between conscious person or person who is doing some kind of personal development and person who don't have access to these tools and, you know, the kind of mindset is, or practices that I do to prevent myself, I will talk about it in a moment. The only difference between these two people, and or you and someone who is watching and say it takes me ages or it doesn't go away at all, the only difference is that I have a tools and I trained myself to practice, and it gets faster. It gets faster and it gets a little bit easier, but I still experience what many people experience because it's kind of is a blueprint. It doesn't disappear, it doesn't vanish. It can diminish, like from 10 to 1, like on a scale, 10 being severe. It can, be significantly, greater. And that's what I want to be very honest with you. It's not like, my clients who finish my program, it's not like they are sorted for the rest of their life and they never feel anything like any challenges. Of course, it's bullshit, but they have the tools, they have a power, they have a mindset that we practiced for long enough that it becomes like a driving. They can dip into it, and it becomes automatic, so much easier to deal with these situations when they're being triggered. Okay, so I'm talking about first thing that helps is to look at things. Okay, look at things closer, analyze it. When is it happening? What are my trigger points? And have a conversation with someone. That is much easier. You reveal so much more than being in your own head. That's why I'm saying, guys, reach out to me so we can have a conversation, because you will discover things that you never thought they had there. And these discoveries are really helping you in a practical life to deal with absolutely anything in life, because life happens and the shit happens to all of us. But it's what capacity, how we are equipped to deal with it all. So my first tip is to learn more about your fear, about your anxiety, and look at it more closely. It really helps. My second tip is about imagination. We all have imagination. And my tip for you is, let's consciously use our imagination in a positive way. Now, hands up or give me a thumbs up or any kind of signal when something happens and you're already thinking of the worst case scenario. Like, oh my God, I don't even know, examples. Okay, examples of it. I work with a lot of women who are on their journey towards motherhood and they cannot conceive for some time. Now, often what is paralyzing them and what is causing them fear and anxiety is the fact that they're almost reality in their head. Their main worry is that they will never ever be moms, that they will always cry when they see baby or pregnant woman, that it will not happen to them. And it is huge anxiety and huge cause of a lot of internal state of this deep sadness that you feel powerless, almost powerless about. And so I'm saying imagination is a very powerful thing. In fact, did you know that whether you imagine, truly vividly imagine, if I give you now 5 minutes to imagine you're in a dream place in your holidays, and I take you through the meditation where I describe you all the colors and all the smells and all the wonderful things that you're doing, how you're feeling, how you're experiencing these holidays, your brain actually doesn't know the difference between reality, whether you're physically there in somewhere in Maldives or it's the imagination. Believe it or not, the chemicals that are being released from our brain are exactly the same, as long as the experience is good meditation and you're experiencing it on emotional level. Our brain is, experiencing in exactly the same way, same chemicals are being released in reality, as well as whatever our imagination can produce. Now, I'm talking about holidays, guys, but the same goes for imagination in worst case scenario kind of things. You know, the same brainwaves, the same energetic, you know, frequency we vibrate on. When we lower down our frequency into the fear, it is very, very difficult, and our brain is experiencing it as actual reality. None of that shit is happening. It will probably never even happen. But our brain is experiencing the fear and anxiety of that, because our brain understands that as actual reality that is already happening, even though it's not. And again, probably it will never happen. It is very natural, because I often talk about it, amygdala, the part of our brain, the primitive part of our brain, is built to survive, is a protective mechanism for us. So in terms of neuroscience, it's very, very normal. You have it, I have it, we all have it. No one was born like, oh, this is a wonderful, pinky, rosy, positive, you know, state of mind that is sustainable for the rest of your life. Absolutely not. You know, it's something that you can nurture, you can totally work with it, you can, you know, you can nourish it, water it just like a plant, but it's not something that comes naturally to us. Yes, you know, our upbringing, our childhood has got a lot to do with it, and experiences in those early years, especially from 3 years old onwards. But you know, like, it is something that we can actively work on. And when I'm talking about imagination, it's very important to, in terms of anxiety, to be, you know, conscious of the fact that when you are running the scenario, the worst case scenario through your head, is very, very important to separate yourself from this. And I say to my clients, remember, your thoughts and your feelings are not who you are. This is your thoughts and your feelings, and this is who you are. Are two separate things. And this knowledge alone is a hugely powerful thing, especially when you experience the difference. For example, if you are inside of anxiety and you are able to, you know, consciously realize and say to yourself, okay, this is what I'm feeling, this is what is crazy, you know, sweaty hands, whatever, however it shows up, the fear and anxiety for you, heartbeat, you know, all of those things. This is what is happening, but is not reality, is not who I am. The feeling I'm feeling is not that there is something wrong with me, something that I cannot do anything about. So separate yourself from the imagination and choose your imagination in a powerful way, rather than in a way that disempowers you. Another tip from me is use your brain in a different way than usual. Now, a lot of times, you know, it helps my patients, like the tapping technique. I've got a freebie for you that helps people with fear and anxiety. Send me a message if you want to get the link for this. There are a lot of techniques that we can use, and one of them is to actually, you know, as I said to you, look at your experience and rate it on a scale from 1 to 10. Like, where are you with your anxiety levels? If 10 is the maximum, you know, and if you are like, okay, well, I'm rating myself 7, then you know where you are at, and you can use one of the techniques. And then at the end, you know, I always ask my clients, like, where are you feeling with your anxiety now? And it's usually between 2, 3, or 1, or even none. So use your brain in a different way. Your brain is very, very, very powerful thing. And remember, your brain doesn't get hold of you. Like, you are totally in charge. I know it doesn't feel like, but you're totally, you know, having the concept and knowledge of it, that you do have a choice of, you know, how you're going to think about the situations or triggering moments in your life and how you're going to process it, especially is important to catch these things at the very beginning. So when you start feeling slightly anxious or slightly worried about, like, you know, do it then. Like, put everything else on the side, put yourself first, and use one of the techniques, whether it's breathing exercise or removing yourself from the situation, going out for 5 minutes for a walk, or even balcony or terrace or something. Use the breathing exercises, the tapping exercise, whatever works for you at the beginning. Because once the anxiety is like a snowball, gets into the stage where it's really getting to the stage when it paralyzes you, when it actually causes later on like panic attacks and these problems that I mentioned to you about. I had problems with the breathing before. It gets too scary to deal with. So it's very important to be more conscious of yourself and catch it if you can at the very beginning. But the absolutely most important thing for those of us who are or used to experience anxiety in the past is prevention. And how, I will talk about it a little bit later. So actually my next thing I want to talk about is also about prevention, and one of the most powerful things that, you know, for me and my clients was probably like a game changer or very big piece of the puzzle in transforming their life when they've been dealing with experiences of severe anxiety and stress and fear, was actually regular breathing exercises. Even like doing the breathing exercises like alternative nostril breathing, when you inhale and then switch and exhale very slowly. I'm doing it very quickly with the other nostril, and doing this for 5 minutes continuously is incredible how your brain will get oxygenated on a physical, on a mental and emotional level. It has a huge impact on your whole state of mind. In fact, when we are breathing calmly, it's impossible to be stressed. Like, these two things don't go together. Yeah, normally when we are stressed or when we are anxious, our breathing is very rapid. It's like not on the outside but inside, right? It's irregular breathing. We hold the breath. Sometimes, you know, when people say take a deep breath, it's an old saying, but it's actually a lot of truth in it. Like, sometimes all we need is just to take a deep breath. Like, sometimes I feel like I need to take a deep breath doing these Facebook lives, because I want to plow you with so much value. And my mouth are getting dry, so I'm going to get some water. But you know, for now, like while I'm drinking, just try it yourself. Like, just take a deep breath now with your eyes closed, and just experience that breath as a nourishing thing for yourself. Like if I do this now again with you, so together. This kind of breath. And it's just one of them. Yeah, you can do this for 5 minutes. It doesn't take long, and it's like, yeah, like that. Practice of mindfulness. This is a big part of prevention that I often talk about. Prevention from getting to that place, because from my experiences, when anxiety gets severe, it's impact of a lot of things that we went through and didn't pay attention throughout some challenging period of our life. So, and when things get challenging and tough, that's the least where we have a motivation. I'm talking from my own experience as well. the least when we have a motivation to go on a yoga mat or do the 5-minute meditation. And that's actually when we actually need it the most. So the regular practice of mindfulness, whatever resonates with you, it doesn't have to be that you are going to do yoga for 1 hour every day. Not many people got a time to do so, but even like mindful walk, like daily walk, like in peace with your dog, like just clearing up your head in your forest somewhere nearby, or like just sit for 5 minutes in a silence. That alone can make a huge difference in quality of your life, and as a prevention in terms of fear and anxiety. Use nature as your therapist. It's very important to be in contact with nature for us. And the more you are on your journey to connect with your feminine, the more you will feel this need, I did, to actually be in touch with nature. It is not natural for us as a human beings being closed in a box in our offices, in our homes, in the concrete buildings. I mean, the wooden buildings are a little bit better, but it's still indoors, right? So every opportunity we have, like I do that all the time with our kids. I love summer because we can do more of it in summer or spring, or even in autumn. Most of the year we can do so, and even in winter, but it's a little bit less comfortable and less sunshine. But use every single opportunity you have to get out. Nature is something that healed me tremendously, or helped me to heal from a lot of my stuff. Even like yesterday, I was sharing with you, I had a tough day on Friday. So even yesterday, I was sitting underneath the tree. The storm was coming from that side, and I was sitting in the grass, and I was there alone, and it was just so healing. So, I didn't meditate. I was just there, like experiencing, just being in a silence, just me and nature, and it's just tremendously healing, and it helps me till this day. So to wrap it up, I'm just thinking what else to say, what might be useful, that my people went through, or I went through throughout the most challenging times. Yes, one thing that I also wanted to share with you is that often when we experience the prolonged periods of anxiety, and it can be even in a form of like, I feel there is like something not right, it's like something is not sitting right with me, something is off, something is not connecting with my soul. Either my job that I do is not in line with my values, or the partner I am with is not, I don't feel connection, there is something missing. For me, it was the first marriage that was causing me huge levels of prolonged periods of anxiety, panic attacks, and later sleeping disorder as well. It often is very important to bravely, and it's a brave thing to do, to look at what area of your life is not working, what is not aligning with your core. Because I promise you guys, the more you discover who you really are, and how to tune in with yourself, the more these things that are like off, it's happening to me even in my life now, and very honestly, you can then adjust things. Sometimes it's not like as big as a divorce. In my case, it was at that time. But, sometimes it doesn't need to take this extra, huge, massive change that you need to, stand or leave a job or something for you to, have a breakthrough in this area. Sometimes it's just little things that you don't see because you've been, not really paying attention to them. And again, conversation with a therapist or a coach who will reveal this like a whale. It's like, oh my God, I've never seen this before. I'm able to do something about it now. I can see. So that's very, very important, because those things can be the cause, the real cause. Like, you can meditate, but if you don't remove the, you know, the I say the rotten part of your life out of the way consciously, and using the power from within and taking a stand for your life, then these things will persevere, and you will be experiencing, repeated, probably, at some point it's got a snowball effect of it getting worse, the feelings of fear and anxiety over and over again, and you'll be wondering, like, you'll be thinking that is something wrong with you. Well, there is nothing wrong with you. It's just there is something missing, and perhaps, you are in a stage where, and some people get to the stage like, that's it, like, I really feel like I want to reach out, like I want to talk to someone about this. And that's when I'm very happy when you reach out to me, or someone you resonate with, is that's when things start happening towards the, like, you start moving forward in life, because you're taking a stand. You no longer wonder of, is there something wrong with me? This is more powerful than I. You start having a power over that thing that is paralyzing, blocking you in life. And so thank you so much for listening, guys. It's been great. I hope you had a lot of value. We can talk about it for a long time. I would love to hear your experiences with all this thing, whether you already overcame it, or whether you are just in the middle of it or dealing with it. What helped you, or what is helping you, or even if you're like, I don't know what would help me, I want to talk to you, please reach out. Do not be alone, because suffering of stress and anxiety, and having a fear limiting our life, it takes so much energy. In a lot of cases, my clients, one of the side effects they experience is so much more energy, because that very thing, dealing with all these paralyzing feelings, it takes actually a lot of energy, and it paralyzes us from move forward in life, in any area of our lives. So, and I will always be a stand for you to live the life you love. So guys, thank you so much for listening and watching, and for all ladies who've been watching us on their journey towards motherhood. I hope this also relates to you, because I know that a lot of times stress and anxiety is being triggered by severely stressful experiences and moments, and times of rejections and times of failures in our life. So I hope you found this very useful also. Guys, I wish you a beautiful weekend, the rest of it. And any questions, any comments, very welcomed, whether here in the comments below the video, or feel free to send me a personal message. I'm here for you guys. Thank you very much. Bye bye for now. Lots of love.